Have you ever looked at a centuries-old map and found something that shouldn't be there? Something that defies logic, or even time itself? That's exactly what happened when explorers and researchers rediscovered the Piri Reis map, an ancient chart drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral. The shock? It appeared to show the northern coastline of Antarctica. But here's the twist. It depicted the landmass without ice. The Antarctic ice sheet wasn't officially discovered until 1818, over 300 years after the Piri Reis map was drawn. Even more bizarre, Antarctica wasn't even confirmed as a continent until the 19th century. Yet somehow, this ancient map showed features that modern sonar technology would only reveal centuries later. So how is that possible? What was Piri Reis copying from? And if this map is legitimate, what does it say about everything we think we know about history? The map was rediscovered in 1929 by a group of scholars studying artifacts in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul. It had been drawn on a piece of gazelle skin by Piri Reis, an Ottoman admiral and cartographer, who compiled it using older source maps. According to his own notes, some of these maps dated back to the time of Alexander the Great. Others, he claimed, were copies of ancient charts created by unknown sailors who had circumnavigated the globe. The map itself is incomplete. Only the western part survives, showing parts of Europe, West Africa, South America, and, most mysteriously, a landmass at the bottom that resembles Antarctica, but not the ice-covered version we know today. Instead, it shows detailed coastlines that match the subglacial topography of Queen Maud Land, a region hidden beneath over a mile of ice. This detail stunned scholars and sparked decades of debate. How could a map from the early 1500s show such accurate coastal data of a continent buried under ice for thousands of years? Some mainstream historians argue the map doesn't depict Antarctica at all. They say it shows the lower extension of South America, distorted by the limited geographic knowledge of the time. Others suggest the resemblance is coincidental, the result of speculative cartography or artistic imagination. But not everyone is convinced. Charles Hapgood, a professor of history and one of the most vocal defenders of the map's authenticity, proposed a radical theory in the 1960s. According to Hapgood, the map's accuracy could only be explained if the original source charts had been made before Antarctica was covered in ice, a time that, according to geological studies, dates back at least 6,000 years, and possibly much longer. Hapgood called this concept Earth crust displacement, the idea that massive shifts in Earth's ice crust could move continents and dramatically alter climates. In his theory, a pole shift could have displaced Antarctica from a temperate zone to its current frozen location in a geologically short period of time. If that were true, the implications would be staggering. Ancient civilizations may have mapped the world in an age when Antarctica was habitable. Even Albert Einstein took Hapgood's ideas seriously enough to write a foreword for one of his books. But despite some academic curiosity, the majority of scholars rejected the theory as unprovable. Still, the accuracy of the subglacial coastline on the Piri Reis map remains unexplained. Geological surveys using radar and sonar have only recently confirmed the topography beneath the Antarctic ice. And yet certain features, such as inlets, bays, and mountains, on the Piri Reis map match what modern instruments now show. That coincidence is hard to ignore. Could there have been an advanced civilization capable of global navigation thousands of years before recorded history? If so, where did they go? Why is there no solid archaeological evidence of such a culture? Or is the Piri Reis map part of a larger puzzle, one that hints at a forgotten chapter of humanity? Consider this. The map isn't the only ancient artifact that hints at advanced geographic knowledge. There are others. The Oransfine map of 1531 also shows a continent resembling Antarctica, again without ice. The Buache map, drawn in 1737, claims to be based on even older sources and outlines an ice-free Antarctic continent, divided by what seems to be a large river or inland sea. And then there's the ancient globe created by Johannes Schöner in 1515. It too includes a southern landmass that bears a striking resemblance to Antarctica, long before its official discovery. Skeptics argue these are just examples of speculative geography, guesses by early cartographers trying to fill blank spaces on their maps. But how did multiple mapmakers across different eras and cultures all guess the same thing? That there was a large specific landmass at the bottom of the world, with coastlines that just so happen to match what's buried beneath the ice today? That's a pretty lucky guess, unless it wasn't a guess. Let us entertain a possibility that the information used to create these maps came from a now lost global culture, a seafaring civilization with technology advanced enough to explore the entire planet and record it with stunning accuracy. If true, that civilization predates Sumer, Egypt, and all known ancient empires. Some call it Atlantis. Others think it's a mythical echo of several prehistoric cultures. The details vary, but the core idea remains. We might not be the first advanced civilization on Earth. The implications of this are immense. It would mean that what we consider the beginning of history is actually a restart, a new cycle following a forgotten collapse. And maybe the clues were left for us, in stone monuments aligned with the stars, in myths that describe cataclysms, and in maps, like the one drawn by Piri Reis. Let's go even further. If Antarctica was once ice-free, as some geological evidence suggests, it could have been home to human life. Satellite images in recent years have shown strange formations beneath the ice, structures that some claim are pyramids, artificial ridges, or even ancient cities. Mainstream science dismisses these as natural formations, but the intrigue remains. Could the shifting of Earth's crust have buried entire civilizations beneath Antarctica's ice? And if so, what secrets remain frozen beneath our feet, waiting to be uncovered? Researchers from various countries have conducted scientific expeditions to Antarctica, drilling through the ice to study the climate record. In the process, they've discovered microbial life, ancient fossils, and signs of warm weather ecosystems that once thrived in the region. Clearly, Antarctica has not always been frozen. But what if there's more? What if the next core sample brings up something not just biological, but technological? If a piece of metal, a circuit, or a man-made structure were found beneath the ice, it would rewrite history books overnight. But would we ever be told? Or would it be buried again, this time under the weight of secrecy? Governments have long shown interest in Antarctica. The Antarctic Treaty, signed in 1959, bans military activity on the continent and sets aside the land for peaceful research. But why so much international cooperation around a frozen wasteland? What do they know that we don't? Some believe there are hidden agendas, that beneath Antarctica lies not just the history of Earth, but something that challenges our place in the universe. Alien contact, ancient technology, a gateway to something beyond. Operation Highjump, a massive U.S. Navy expedition to Antarctica in 1946, adds fuel to this fire. Officially a research mission, it included over 4,000 personnel, dozens of aircraft, and an aircraft carrier. The operation was abruptly cut short, and to this day, rumors swirl about what was really found. Stories of strange encounters, missing data, and suppressed footage. Could this be connected to what ancient maps were hinting at all along? Some theorists claim that certain areas of Antarctica are strictly off-limits, even to scientists, and that underground facilities exist beneath the ice. They point to satellite anomalies, unexplained energy signatures, and leaked testimony from alleged whistleblowers as evidence. It's easy to dismiss all this as fantasy. But history is full of discoveries once thought impossible, until they weren't. The Piri Reis map isn't just a curiosity, it's a challenge. A challenge to rethink what we know, to question the timeline we've been taught, and to imagine a deeper, more complex story of humanity. So the next time you look at a blank white patch on a globe, remember that ice might be hiding more than just frozen rock. It might be hiding the truth,